What's going on, you guys? Slim here with a new video today, and today I got you guys on the top 5 rogue decks for this current format and why you should play them. If you guys are new here, consider subscribing, hit that notification bell. You guys will be notified whenever I upload over here and on Twitch. Links are in the description. While you're down in the description, consider joining my Discord server. We just have an awesome, ever-growing community over there. It's also how you can take part in being my guests and being part of the chat during my streams. If you're going to purchase any of the cards I talk about to build the decks I talk about, or decks in general, cards in general, TCG player link, description below. Portion of what you spend goes back to the channel, helps me out. I really do appreciate it. And last but not least, if you further want to support me in the channel, consider becoming a channel member. It is officially gone live. I got a link in the description as well. If you guys do want to become a channel member, I have some awesome rewards over there. Just a lot of bonus content that'll happen for you guys if you guys want to support the channel or become one of my Patreons. Well, that out of the way, you guys. Rogue decks, like literally the top 5 rogue decks. I didn't want to have the same list I had last time. Like, I omitted some decks this time. I wanted to put some new decks on here just to give you guys an idea of what you can do this format. This format's pretty open, I'm not gonna lie. It is a very annoying format to play in because, you know, we still have Break My Board or Bust, or we have just cards that tell you can't play Yu-Gi-Oh! However, despite all that, there are still a bunch of decks you can play. But the first thing I want to mention, as always, is the trap decks. Now, these are not part of the top 5, but they're just here in the form of Guru, Altergeist, Anti-Meta Stud, trap decks galore, whatever you want to call it. Any kind of trap deck. They're not in the top 5, but they're definitely a viable rogue option. Trap cards are good this format. They were good last format. They're good this format. Guru is still a deck. Geist is still a deck. Anti-Meta is still a deck. Summon Border Set 4 is still a deck. I'm not going to deny that those are decks in the format. They may not be the best decks, but they're still decks. I still want to respect them. I want to give them their own little moment to shine. And yeah, there are options you can have in this format if you don't want to play any of the decks that I mentioned in this list. I'm not going to mention them all. These are just my personal opinion. Okay, coming in at number 5, I have Shaddolls yet again. But this time, it's every variant you can imagine under the sun of Shaddolls. Anything that plays Shaddolls is in this group. Winda is a win condition. Construct is insane. Abkalone is insane. Schism got bought out again, and it's insane. Shaddolls are just a very strong deck, whether they're combined with Dogmatica, whether they're played in Pure, whether they're played in the trap build that Pack piloted and, you know, kind of brought to the forefront. There are so many variants of Shaddolls that you can play, and you can do it if you are fortunate enough to get the structure decks. Getting the cards is easy. They all come common. You can holo upgrade them. We finally get a holo dragon. Coming in OTS 15, it's like one of the only good cards in the set. Like literally, that deck is insane. I think Shaddolls is fantastic. You can play Super Poly and just break boards. Dragoon is not a problem for you. Summon a Shaddol, go Super Poly, GG, no re. Like, I think the deck is very strong. If you watch packs from Ballin' on a Budget series, you'll see how good Shaddolls are just in general. And I couldn't make this list and omit this deck. I wanted to cover every variant of Shaddolls, like I said, whether it be the trap build, whether it be the pure build, whether it be the Dogmatica, whether it be any kind of form of Shaddolls. I think it is one of the best rogue decks that you can play this format, and it honestly could creep its way up into the meta further and further going forward. So that's what I have at number 5. After that, coming at number 4, this is a new one. The Lyralist Tri-Brigade Bird deck. Literally, I call it the Bird deck. Shout out to my boy Yishan, and a couple of the players have been playing this deck. I learned about this deck because of you, so I want to give credit where it's due. Never played it myself, played against it yesterday and wanted to rip my eyes out. Yeah, they summoned the Big Bird. The Big Bird summons the barrier statue, and guess what? My deck didn't play a wind monster. I didn't draw a droplet. Feels bad. Not only that, they could also bring out the Big Chicken. The, whatever that thing is called. I forgot its name, but you know, the Big Chicken. The thing that is literally a bounce and negate. This deck is crazy. The Tri-Brigade engine has gotten better because of kits released in Blazing Vortex. This deck is honestly very, very cool. I did not know what it did before, but watching it in action, watching what it can do, it can make the Lyralist that can't be destroyed. It can make a Zeus like it's nobody's business. This deck is very, very cool. And while it's a rogue contender right now, one of them did top the last LCS, and I believe it was played by Tristan Pugh, who was one of the best players around, and that definitely speaks volumes to how powerful that deck is. My boy Yishan is an accomplished YCS, you know, finalist. You already know this with multiple tops and stuff like that. He's been playing the deck, preaching the deck, and the deck is honestly insane. Like I said, go check out his channel if you guys want to learn more about the deck. That's where I get my information on the deck. Again, I had to mention it. This deck seems insane going forward, and I think the more that players mess with it, the more they keep tweaking it. Like I said, the new introduction of kit into the deck makes the Tri-Brigade engine in it so much stronger. I think this is definitely a sleeper deck that is starting to pick up a lot more steam, so definitely don't sleep on this deck. I think the deck is insane. Definitely makes top 5 rogue decks, and definitely something you should pick up and be weary of going forward, because you're going to end up like me, staring down a barrier statue with no out, and yeah, that kind of sucks, right? But yeah, I had to put it at number 4. So Lyrillist Tri-Brigade, aka the Bird deck. I just call it the Bird deck. It's just easy to remember. Next, coming in at number 3, I have Phantom Knights. Now, this could be Phantom Knight BA, similar to the last list, but I had to put Phantom Knights because shout out to Mr. Oysters, getting first place at his extravaganza with that deck. Phantom Knights are Phantom Knights. They haven't cracked into the meta yet to be in the top 5 or top 10, but they are definitely a good rogue deck. Literally, Torn Scales has made the deck insane. They have so many really cool combos they can do with Rusty Bardiche. The fact that they can also play Dragoon is insane. That's something Joshua did play in his deck, and I saw that, and that's why I had to put this deck on here. If you're not going that route and you're playing the Burning Abyss route, we know how good Dante is. Dante is literally eternal, and you can play all the BA cards. BA Phantom Knight has been a deck that's been around for a while. It's just gotten better with the inclusion of more cards. But again, if you're going the Phantom Knight route, there's a lot of combos. You can even go as far as to play Phantom Knights in Infernoble Knight. Like, I've seen so many things that Phantom Knights have been able to do. The engine has either been splashed or been made into its own pure deck. And I think that the more testing that goes on, the more, you know, the more like card interaction and stuff that get discovered. I think Phantom Knights will be something that we're going to see more players messing with, because the cards are very strong. While they're not more broken than a VFD or, you know, the Eldritch engine, I think the engine is very strong. And I think, again, the ban list may address these other decks, but are they going to hit Phantom Knights? Hell no. So they've already brought back Rusty Bardiche. I don't see them banning it again. I think, like, literally this deck will be safe from the ban list, along with these other decks I mentioned. They're not going to hit anything in Shaddoll's. They're not going to hit anything in this Lyrillist Bird deck. I really don't see that happening. So these decks are also, like, ban list proof, I think, and Phantom Knights is definitely up there. So I had to have that at number 3. And then coming in at number 2, it's Prank Kids, because that deck is... the deck just doesn't want to stop. And I say that because every time you think the deck kind of falls out of favor, it does good in one tournament, then it kind of phases out of another tournament, it comes back and rears its head again. And Prank Kids is just that deck. They're even being included in the Adamancipator list. I wanted to put Adamancipator on here, but I kind of will put it in conjunction with Prank Kids, because they are using the Prank Kids cards with the rock cards to make for that deck. However, there's just not enough players that are trying it. I know Cody has played it. I know Jibriel has played it. Elise has played it. But we haven't seen a ton of players really mess with that deck, so I couldn't put that in the top 5 rogue decks just yet. But I'll be honest with you, next month or maybe even sooner, it might make another list, because I think it's amazing. But Prank Kids are insane. Like, literally one card combos. Like, what more could you want? Hanko demonstrated that perfectly. And while you don't see Prank Kids in the LCSs due to time and stuff like that, I think Prank Kids is still just a very solid strategy. A lot of players still to this day do not know how to fully play around the deck. And not only that, battling Butler, just being able to Raigeki you multiple times is crazy. The way the deck plays is just insane. Its grind game is insane. And its ability to play a bunch of hand traps as well makes it a very strong rogue deck, because Prank Kids still do exactly what Prank Kids did before. And not only that, they can play a bunch of hand traps. Their grind game is insane. And if they decide to be that kind of player and play the Mystic Mind loop, I mean, if you don't have an out, I mean, I'm sorry, bro, you're on a 6-turn clock and then you lose. So for all these reasons, you know, I gotta mention Mystic Mind too, just because unfortunately it is part of some of the strategies. Not every Prank Kids player does it, but it is an option that they have at their disposal. I want to make sure you guys are aware of that. Prank Kids is just an insane deck, and I definitely have to put it in the top 5 rogue, because it's very strong at what it does, and I think that going forward we're going to see more and more players, you know, probably taking more time with Prank Kids to see what they can accomplish. I haven't heard if they're going to use the new pot core or the new polymerization, but those are definitely tools they could add to their arsenal to make the deck even better going forward. But for the very last deck, now I had a really hard time deciding what it would be, and I decided on Pure Zoo. Shout out to my boy Brandon. Now here's why I chose Pure Zoo. While I don't think in any shape or form it's as good as the Eldritch build, Pure Zoo is still good at what it does. I've seen them blind second, summon a Borbo, make a Zeus, and game over. Not only that, Kaiju Zoo, after 3+ years, is back in the meta, in the sense that I've seen players playing Kaijus with Zoo monsters again. Kaiju Zoo combo. Kaiju Zoo combo. It's pretty crazy. It really makes you wonder, like, what Zoo is going to do. And the reason why I chose to make it the very last deck is because I feel like there's a lot it can do in the future, and I think the more people keep messing with it, we're going to see Zoo actually do something. Whether they combine it with other engines is neither here nor there. Pure Zoo can still play a ton of hand traps, can still play all its Zoo engine, and can still make Zeus. And Zeus, well, Zeus is a hell of a card this format, so I had to include it. And of course, what's the ultimate rogue deck of 2021? You already know what it is. It's Pure Magnets, baby. But that's for only Shannon Long, myself, the Cali Effect, Winter Kills, and maybe the other few people that play the deck. It's maybe 10 people or less, but it's definitely the best rogue deck of 21. It got a little bit better because of prosperity, but don't tell anybody. Anyways, you guys, that's my list. You're probably wondering, where's Dogmatica? Where's Dinos? Those aren't rogue decks. They're just underrepresented, and that's why they're not on this list. That is why you don't see Dinos in this list. I don't like that content creators and players are saying that Dinos is rogue. It's not rogue. It's just underrepresented this format and just doesn't do that well this format. But it's still part of the meta, and if you don't pay attention to it, Ultimate Conductor is going to lay the smackdown, and it's going to suck. But that is the list, you guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I'm sure I missed some decks. I probably left some decks out. I just can't remember every single deck. These are the ones that I've seen on Dueling Book. I've seen on all the simulators. I've seen players talk about. I'm sure there's a plethora of other decks. I wanted to just kind of put, a niche amount together and then just mention ones that I feel are always good in the format. And like I said, let me know what you guys think. If you guys did enjoy, give it a thumbs up. Tell me decks that you think you will continue to see in the rogue category that will continue to do well this format. There's a ton of them. I think that we'll definitely see more decks going forward. And as the format progresses, we'll see what the meta shapes up to be. When our ban list comes, I think all these decks will be safe, so definitely don't sleep on them. Pick them up now if you're going to, using that TCG player link. And also just see what these decks will do in the future. But that's everything for today, you guys. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching.